Hi everyone, it's Lisa with Ink and Inspirations. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, we are going to be making some cards with the Feels Like Frost specialty paper and the For Unto Us stamp set from the mini catalog from Stampin' Up. I'm using my Stamparatus for positioning, and I have some of the Feels Like Frost photographic elements here, cut 4 by 5 1/4. I have a scrap piece of paper that I have some tick marks on so that I line up my paper correctly every time. And I have my stamp where it needs to be on the designer paper. So I'm using Versamark ink and I'm going to stamp on the designer paper. And then I'm going to quickly take some white embossing powder and sprinkle that on. And then I'll use my heat tool to emboss that image. I love this technique as far as putting the sentiment directly on the designer paper. And this paper lends itself to this very well because there are some white spaces, and you can see I've done a stack of 3 there, and I'm making a stack of Christmas cards to send out. So here is another print, and I'm going to stamp on it. I already have these cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to choose a different sentiment from the For Unto Us set and going to just see how the sizing is there. And then I've got my paper on the marks on the scrap piece, put my magnets down. I'm going to line up the sentiment there, then bring my plate over to pick that up, and it'll be ready to stamp. Now, I looked at my designer paper to see what color ink I wanted to use. So they have Highland Heather and Purple Posy. So I believe I have Highland Heather here, and I'm going to stamp this image on that snowbank there. Now I want it a little darker, so I'm going to restamp. This is part of the beauty of the Stamparatus. You can stamp in exactly the same place, and it's ready to go with a little bit of a bolder image. So now I'm going to go ahead and place the other sheets of designer paper that are pre-cut and stamp those as well. And so you can see how you could do a stack of cards very quickly by just having this prepared and stamping over and over and positioning the paper in the same place every time. You could also use a grid sheet. We have Stamparatus grid sheets that you can use. I didn't have one of those handy here in the studio, so I just used a piece of scrap paper and marked my lines to line up my sheet each time. Now, at the time of this recording, this designer paper here is half price. It's in the year-end closeout from Stampin' Up, and it's $7.50 for, I believe it's 46 by 6 sheets. And so hopefully it's still available, and this great stamp set is also still available. So I have another print here, and I see that it's still a little bit too large, so I'm going to cut it down. It's 4 inches wide, and then I need to cut it down to 5 1/4 inches. So I'm going to do that quickly with my paper trimmer. And then I'm going to bring my Stamparatus back in. This time I'm going to use Night of Navy ink so that it shows up really, really well in that night snowy sky. So I'm going to use Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and there's a sentiment, Glory to the Newborn King, that I will use on the inside of the card. Now here I'm trying to decide where I'm going to position this, and I decided on the center. And I do want to mention with this particular stamp set, there are sentiments for the outside and then matching sentiments for the inside in the same font. And so it's a great set. I love it. So here again, I'm going to do another one and just stamp that on there, and it's ready to go. That Night of Navy is dark, so I didn't need to restamp it. I like how it looked. So now I have all of these card fronts that are ready to put on bases. And be sure and visit my website at inkandinspirations.com to see the finished cards. If you have any questions, let me know, and be sure and check out that year-end closeout on the link on my blog, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.